What is going on, you sickos? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and my lord, is it nice to be sitting in this chair on a Friday night. That's right, it's Fan Friday, your show, ladies and gentlemen. So, any questions, any comments, anything, any topic that is on your mind, I'd love to hear about it. That is what we are here for tonight. We'll do a little weekly recap of everything that went down with the Eagles, talk about everything you need to know. But look, I appreciate each and every one of you taking the time, whether you're watching this live, watching this later. Hope you're all having yourselves a great week. It has been rainy, crappy. I've been outside for most of it. It has just been complete crap. And I've got to work tomorrow. I got to get up at 5 a.m. So, my God, I'm not looking forward to that. So, no true joy from it being Friday, but I am happy to be here. Happy to talk some birds with all of you here tonight. So we're here to talk about all the things that happened. But again, whatever you have on your mind, you want to talk about some draft stuff. You know that I have been going through. We have started the draft series, and we got through the quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, tight ends. Going to put out the offensive line tomorrow, and then we'll have the defense here next week. And we'll be ready to rock and roll for the draft. I hope you guys are all excited because I'm still trying to narrow down who my guy is, but you've seen my top fits so far at those other positions I just mentioned, but we'll go through all of them here. But let's get into what the Eagles have done so far in this free agent period because, my Lord, have they been adding. So we added CJ Uzomah yesterday, but we've been adding. So you've got 7 on offense, 7 on defense here. And a lot of great pieces, some starters, and you've got some great depth pieces here. Now, did a free agent recap, talked about all this, but I'll do it again closer to the draft. We'll see if we add anyone else, but this is what we talk about. Stay patient throughout this period. There's still a lot of guys out there. You saw, gave you a list of the top 200 out there. We'll do that again after the draft, the guys that are remaining. Talk about the free agent, undrafted kids we get, all that stuff. But you can see so far, my God, has Howie been busy. And it's not just the guys that they've added there, but they've retained some guys. Obviously, we cut Maddox, brought him back. So a starting caliber guy, maybe he's depth depending on what you do in the draft or, throughout this period before the season begins. You can trade for people, sign people, do whatever you want. You don't just have to draft. But we did lose some players, and, some people feel a certain way, obviously, about Reddick. We talked about that last week. And look, it's a part of the business. 30-year-old that wanted big money. We weren't going to give him. We signed Huff for a reason, and we're going to look into the draft. Last year, we drafted Nolan Smith for that reason. So I feel like the Eagles have been doing all they need to do, and we're sitting pretty right now going into the draft. Obviously, we're going to have some things we're looking at, but there's still some guys out there that, have been on this team, offense and defense, a few guys available. Maybe you bring back Cunningham with the familiarity with Bobby King and this defense, this Eagles team, and maybe he can be a veteran leader. But beyond that, maybe Boston Scott, but they gave his number away, so I'm not so sure. And I gave you that updated number list the other day, but in case you missed it, you can see here. And I'm going to do a little show talking about some things, showing you. I'll recap all of the numbers that we have, but you can see Kenny Pickett went from 16 now to number 7, so he already switched that number. And you've got Greer there with 16 and all these other guys you can see getting their numbers. And then on defense, Devin White getting that 45 that we talked about. And then the rest of the guys you can see listed there. T.Juan Mullen taking 41. So, look, I try to keep you up to date with everything. I know you guys like a lot of different stuff. So for those of you that like those numbers, there you go. But with all of those additions, let's take a gander here at this depth chart. And look, anybody in green that you see is new to the team, whether that be free agency, trade. But obviously, you see I have Uzomah in there right behind Goddard, and we'll see these other guys competing. We talked about the tight ends in the draft yesterday. I still feel that's a position of need, and we'll talk about that here in a second, a little more in depth. But you can see all the pieces we added, how they fit in. You see the guys in gray are the reserve future signings, everyone in white on this roster. So, yeah, I'm getting excited about that offense and this defense too. And obviously you need to add to it. Still have some depth concerns. We'll see who's starting at certain spots, but look, the Eagles know that we're going into this draft. And again, I think we've added a lot of great pieces so far. You've got Huff, White, Rogers, CJ Gardner-Johnson. Then you've got depth guys. I mean, look at that. Burks, Bond, Mustafa, Tyler Hall. We'll see if all these guys make the team. But so far, you're adding competition for the summer, and that's all you can ask for. And even the special teams has some competition there. So feeling pretty excited about this roster. But, obviously the draft, you have it for a reason, to add even more guys. We have 8 picks in this year's draft. Obviously, Howie could trade some of those away, acquire more. A lot of things could happen here. So always got to be ready with Howie. But I think, we, again, have a lot of ammo here, and I'm pretty excited about it. So hope you're all getting excited here. Let me jump over here to the comments. Happy Fan Friday to you, Tiffany. Thank you for starting us off. You sicko. Go Birds. Hope you're having a great week, though, Tiffany. And, a big shout out to you, Lee. Thank you, my man, for the super chat. Which free agent do you think will have the biggest impact? Well, that's a great question there. Looking at that, thinking off the top of my head, Saquon Barkley obviously jumps off the page because, I mean, a running back like him with an offensive line like this and a quarterback like this, weapons around him, receivers, tight ends, he's never had this. So you saw how well he did as the focal point, defenses stacking the box, knowing he is the focal point, and they still were able, getting there. Well, he was still able to run all over their asses. He did it to us a bunch of times. So I think off the top of my head right there, obviously, that is huge. He is going to run muckshot. I just really think this dude is going to go ham. And I'm excited about him. But if we're, stating the not obvious, I think, a lot of people are excited about the receivers. I'm not sure Campbell and Parker even make the team. I like Uzomah. We talked about an upgrade over Stoll. He's in the top 5 blocking tight ends in the league. He can catch the ball. That's what we need. So love that addition. I think that beyond that, you got some quarterbacks. You got Pickett to compete with McKee. You have Greer here who knows the system. So that's a good pickup. Not much of an impact. So offense, Saquon Barkley definitely wins that one. Defense, how much. Bryce Huff was my number 1 free agent for a reason. I think he's going to shine here. People are sleeping on this dude, and I told you that back then. Wait till people find out who this kid is. They will tell you how the Eagles should get him, and, well, we're past that point, baby. We got him. I'm excited. Yes, it sucks. Reddick is gone, 30 years old. He's out the door. We got a younger version of him. I think going to be a better version of him. He's got to work on some things. You talk about against the run thing. Hey, look, not to be negative, I think he's going to have a huge impact. He, Sweat, Nolan Smith, Brandon Graham, and we talk about all the other pieces you have that are going to compete. You talk about guys like Terrell Lewis, Brandon Smith are those tweener types, but Zach Bond is here, to be depth there as well. So can those other guys win jobs? So I think Bond's going to have a great role as a depth piece, can help you as an off-ball linebacker and an edge guy. So that's big. He backs up what you've got Huff and Sweat. And then obviously we mentioned Nolan Smith, Brandon Graham back there. So I think, you're going to add in this draft, but you've got some depth pieces. I think Devin White, man, he's looking to, re-spark. And I didn't like how he went out, when how he acted with the Bucks, how things went there. But you never know, man. A change of scenery. He's still very young. I think 25 years old. So the 24 even. So I think that given the right opportunity, which is here with the Eagles, right leadership, right coaching around him, I think this kid is going to shine here. And CJ Gardner-Johnson back home. Love that signing as well. So those 3 right there are, yeah, I think they're going to be fantastic signings. CJ Gardner-Johnson back there is the safety, a versatile piece that you need. Somebody that can come down, help out at nickel at times. He's very versatile. So love that. You need to be as a safety, interchangeable safeties in this defense. There's no real free safety, strong safety. These guys both have to be able to do that, whoever the starters are. Use the third safety a lot. So CJ Gardner-Johnson was pivotal, but you got to get more. I think we look in the draft there, but that's a huge addition. So you needed a linebacker, you got White. You needed a safety, you got Gardner-Johnson, but really you needed an edge because you got rid of Reddick. So I think Huff, that's really hard for me, 1A, B, C, right? But I think I'm going to go with my number 1 free agent, and that's Huff, right? So I'll go with my guy there, but I think all are fantastic additions. So Lee, I appreciate that super chat, my man, and hopefully answer that question kind of. I think that when you look at Saquon Barkley, that's just the clear-cut answer, right? What he's going to be able to do, and not just what he can finally do in an offense like this, but what he's going to allow this team to do. And not to knock DeAndre Swift, but Saquon Barkley is a lot more scary. And I think that it's going to put a defense on their heels, dude, when you've got guys like Barkley and Hurts just starting off right there with the line we have. Yeah. Is Steen going to be that right guard? I hope so. Jerkins the center? I hope so. I hope that's how it plays out. Everything just keeps clicking. But you've got, guys like Goddard and AJ and Devontae are going to feast. And I think in this draft, they know they need more help at receiver, more help at tight end. So I think that there's definitely some things, that they're going to add to make this even better. But I think Saquon's going to shine here, man. And Lee, I truly appreciate that, my friend. Thank you again. Are all of our free agents definitely gone now that their numbers were given away? No, they can still come back and get a different number. It doesn't mean they're gone, but when they give away their numbers, it's not necessarily a great sign for them. Paris Campbell, yeah. And I've mentioned that before. Didn't have a great year, but the Giants suck. He had a worse year than Olamide Zaccheaus and Quez Watkins, all those guys. So I didn't like that. And yeah, I knew who you were saying, my friend. Don't worry about it. I know how the phones or the computers like to get and spell things for you. But I think that, you needed to add to the room. And we talked about that. Add veterans and add young guys. So some people are pissed about it, but I'm with you, man. I think you needed to add there. It's an upgrade over Quez. I would have brought back Olamide. Now he's with the Commanders. I think for me, I would have brought Olamide. It's cool, though. Paris Campbell, if he wants to revive his career, Sirianni's connection with him, that's great. Devontae Parker, I see people, yes, I don't even know he makes the team either. So these guys are competing with Covey. We'll see who we add in the draft. Do you add anybody else in free agency? There's still time to add a lot, but I think Paris Campbell, another thing like with Devin White, where you're looking at it and it's like, hey, man, add them in a situation where he's surrounded by guys like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and Paris Campbell could really shine because he can do a lot of those things that we talked about Quez Watkins is not able to do as just being an F and wide receiver in the NFL, not just speed. I understand a lot of people, with the Devin Allen, the Quez Watkins of the world, it's, they're so fast and on Madden, they do so well for me. And it's like, well, that's great. But in real life, these mother effers need to learn how to run some routes, how to catch the ball and, create separation, do things that, make you an NFL wide receiver. So if you're not even providing help in the return game, which Paris Campbell can do as well, Quez Watkins struggled there, could not do that. Now, Olamide Zaccheaus can punt return. I think we used him one time back there, but we have Covey. So you don't need that. Paris Campbell helps you as a kick returner. That is something a little different. He can help you. He's a return guy, so you like that, right? So I'm all about adding to these positions, and some people either take it one way or the other, right? You're irate. This guy's old. I don't like him, right? He sucked with the Giants, but it's like, hey, man, you never know what the right situation can do for somebody with a good quarterback, other good receivers around them, things opening up in the middle more with a good tight end. Now, the Giants did have some decent tight ends. I'll give them that. But I just think that, the sky's the limit for a lot of these guys. You're on a team like the Eagles, Super Bowl aspirations. So I think that this could go well for him, but there could be a stud we draft high in the rounds. We talked about the receivers the other day. I like a lot of those guys and a lot of places you could look, and some of those guys that you get in later rounds could beat out any of these veteran guys. So, hey, I'm all about that competition, though, because believe it or not, you do have 90 players in the offseason. And I know people get worked up about some of these signings that Will Grier take, for instance. For me, I thought that was a great signing. He probably doesn't even make the team. A practice squad guy that, knows the system, can help out all of the quarterbacks, everybody, get everybody, the preseason guys. They now have a quarterback. It's not just some Dick Johnson out here that's, throwing balls in the dirt, throwing them in, to the bleachers here. It's somebody that knows the system. Yeah, maybe not the greatest quarterback in the world, but a guy made it to the NFL. He knows Doug Nussmeier. He knows Kellen Moore. So I thought Grier as a teacher, kind of like that coach on the field. I think that that's a great move. And now the rules change where you can have a practice squad quarterback as your emergency quarterback. We'll see how things play out, man. But I think the Eagles are covering all of their bases here, and that's all I could ask for, man. So I'm with you. That I think all these signings are pretty awesome so far. Even PJ Mustafa, we talked about adding a nose tackle, somebody that can actually compete with Noah Ellis to give some competition behind Jordan Davis. Is that true? Zero shade, one technique, big boy. The 2-gap run stopping monster. Well, if you're Jordan Davis 3. So all about it, though. You think the Eagles draft an O lineman? Oh, yeah. I think they always. That is something you can always depend on. O lineman, D lineman is something the Eagles will always be looking at. And it's just really about if there's somebody they love that's there, they're going to take them. If there's somebody else, then they're not. If we look at Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, what they meant to this defense and why I had them as my picks the last 2 years was why I thought they were the perfect fit, why the Eagles would be and should be looking at them. Man, that's just kind of what you do when oh, we're not going 2 years in a row defense. It's like, yeah, but they're not even the same kind of defensive tackle, dude. Like, this isn't Madden. Like, these people are different. And talk about the techniques they play and why I was so pumped up. But I think for me, you're always going to be looking at those things, right? X-Dog. So I think for me, yes, is definitely an answer. So O lineman, D lineman. And when you lose guys like Jason Kelsey, that's kind of, like, that sucks. You lose Sayamalu. There's things that, you got to try to replace them. But that's why you drafted Steen last year. That's, so it's not dire need that you have to do with the first pick. And you always see people, we're definitely taking this now. I saw people, you can't take a tight end now that you signed Uzomah. It's like, dog, they can do whatever the hell they want. They're bringing in depth competition in a lot of areas. And if these kids want to be the future, they may get that opportunity. So a lot of positions to talk about. We've already talked about a few. Hopefully you go check them out. I'll post it after I'm done this show down below. So you guys have the link to that playlist. And you can go through the positions you want. And you can see the new ones when they're added. Come back to here, whatever it may be. But that's a big yes for me, my friend. And yes, we still have Josh Jobe. You saw him there on that depth chart. You might have missed that part of the video. But yeah, he is part here of this team. Do you know if Cam Jurgens moved? Oh, yeah, that is what he is drafted for. He is the center of the future. I mean, you've heard and seen him on my depth charts here. That is the name of the game. Now, let me get to the mailbag question here. Kind of pertains to a lot of things that were being said and gives us further discussion as to what this team looks like. But the question here is, and I'll show you the depth chart again, just because it seems, a lot of you guys weren't here at first. So we'll touch up. I show this stuff every day, though. So in case you guys are into knowing this kind of stuff, tune in always here to show you guys this kind of stuff. Any questions about who's on the roster, what the cap is, any of that stuff, always have that information available for you. Now, you can see my man Luffy here getting a question into the mailbag. What do you think our biggest positions of need are? Now, this is on every draft video show, the ones I was just mentioning. So I actually have this at the beginning of each show so you can understand why, as I go through those positions, why I feel a certain way about where we should draft someone. This is where I feel the positions of need are. Now, I talked about possibly changing it after the Uzomah signing, but I still feel, yeah, we've got a tight end 2, but I want a guy here that could possibly be the future, be the tight end 2, 3, have a good combination. God forbid anything happened to Goddard, but I think 12 personnel, 13 personnel need to be used more when you got a guy like Saquon. Run the damn ball down people's throats. Let's effing go. But for me, safety is still that position. I mentioned earlier, yeah, I feel pretty good about getting C.J. Gardner-Johnson back. Reed got himself extended. Sidney Brown, you guys know how much I wanted him in last year's draft. But here's the thing, guys. Sidney Brown's, saying that he's going to be ready for the beginning of the season. I don't think we want to rush him back too much, but we'll see what happens. Regardless, we talked about using multiple safeties, not just the 3 safety sets. You talk about big nickel, big dime, all these versatile pieces we have on this team, and I think you need more. So for me, I think it's safety. Then it's linebacker because, yeah, you got Devin White, you have Nakobe Dean, you have Bond, you have Burks, you have guys that make me feel a lot more comfortable than I did before free agency started. That was the number 1 position, but we're looking at depth here still. I feel we've added so much that I don't have to be concerned about where, like, oh my God, if we don't draft this. So I'm not saying safety needs to be the first draft pick here. I'm just saying, looking at this roster, I would add a starting safety caliber guy in the first couple of picks here. I literally would try to do that. And if you don't do that, then you go out and say, look, Justin Simmons, I understand you wanted this, but you're not getting it. So why don't you sign here, come win a Super Bowl? Let's go Birds. Now, if you can't do that, maybe you try to trade for somebody. But still, to me, you got to add to that room. And then, looking at linebackers, I think that you could still add to the room. Edge defenders, you got to get younger, build for the future, because after next year, Sweat will be gone. And look, Brandon Graham's not going to be back. So That's somewhere I still feel you got to go. Guard, I think, got to get competition for Steen. I love, his outlook. I love that Stoutland loves him, so pumped up there. Tight end, still feel you need to add. Wide receiver, I need somebody to pair with Brown and Smith, compete with those other guys. Cornerback, I feel pretty comfortable there, but I need some younger depth. You don't know how long Slay, Bradbury, what's going on there. I'm pumped about Rodgers being here, so a lot going on. Running back, look, you got Saquon, but Tyrion Davis Price, Lou Nichols, Kenny Gainwell. I want more competition there. Tackle, you don't know how much, a couple more years, few more years for Lane, but you got to have some depth there. Love Fred Johnson as the backup, though, so I feel comfortable there, but you could add there. Interior D line. Yo, you got Jordan Davis, you've got Jalen Carter, you've got Milton Williams, and, you've added backup pieces that we talked about, that I feel comfortable with his depth. Marlon Tuipulotu, I still like him. Moro Wajomo last year, like him. So you've got competition here. Return specialist, I think, you could look to add some younger guys if you want with the kick return rules changing, but this is just how stacked. I feel center, I'm not worried at all, man. I think Matt Hennessy being signed there, Dickerson, in case of emergency, but you've got guys that can play that position. Cam Jurgens is going to be the center of the future. You have, again, Hennessy who can compete with right guard and center. So I feel good there. I like Hennessy being here. Specialist, kicker, punter, holder, everybody's good there. And then quarterback, obviously I feel pretty damn good there. So those are the positions. You can see everything I just mentioned. I'll show you that depth chart again one last time. But, looking at the offense, that quarterback room, I feel pretty damn good about it. That is the position for me that you just don't even worry about. Running back, you see what I mean, behind Saquon. I like Kenny, but I would add some competition there. You see the receivers. Yeah, a lot of names, but I would improve there. Tight end, I'd still look to improve there. Add competition with Alberto, Calcaterra, Jenkins, Togiai, all those guys back there. Looking at the line, again, I would add there. You've got a lot of question marks there at the depth positions, and you'll see how the starters play out. I'd love it to be Jurgens and Steen, but only time is going to tell us that, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll see how this summer goes. Looking forward to it. Now, on the defensive side of the ball here, man, we talked about it. I think the safety room, that's where, McCollum's here with those guys, but it's just pretty barren. I would add to it. You talk about edge guys, you got a lot of competition there, but I'm looking to the future. I'm adding, that is the bread and butter here, getting pressure on a quarterback. Talk about the interior, those young guys. I'm pretty pumped up, but you could add there too. Linebacker, we talked about it. You got some guys there, but again, I would look to get younger still. Corners, I feel probably better than most because I like Ringo, Ricks, their outlook, McPherson getting healthy. So we'll see what happens with Bradbury, but you've got Slay, Rodgers, Maddox is back. We'll see how things pan out, but Job and Mullen, Goodrich, Garner, Tyler Hall was brought in, lots of competition. But safety to me, that's why it's number one. I think just, kind of bare there. And then you see, the specialists, I feel for the first time in my life, really comfortable. So love it, man. But maybe add something to the return game. We shall see. Now, we've got those 8 picks, man. So I feel, a lot of these guys, I've mentioned it during those, draft breakdowns. You've got a first, 2 seconds. That puts you in a prime position that any of those top positions I was talking about, there's a few of them that you should be looking at and really try to, focus on that and think, man, that's how I'm going to make my pick. So we'll see who I pick. We'll go for year 6 in a row here. But, man, pick 22. That makes it a little harder. I remember we did that, and I picked Dillard. That's pretty wild. Kind of pissed we did it, though, because, he sucked. Now, you can see that third turned into a fourth with the Kenny Pickett trade. Still got 3/5, though, and a 6th. Then we actually got more ammo, 6 picks next year, and then 8 the following year when we acquired that 3rd-round pick from the Jets for Reddick, which could turn into a 2nd-round pick. So you're looking at 22 picks in the next 3 years. You can trade all of these picks coming up in the draft. So expect Howie to be busy and to be doing his thing. I cannot wait to see, man. This is going to be quite exciting, but you see it, man. This team, they're effing loaded right now, and we haven't even drafted yet. So, man, Luffy, to me, great question. But all of you guys, if you have those questions, those draft videos, those are going to be very beneficial to you to get all of my thoughts, all of the things that are going through my head as to what this team is going to do when it comes to the draft, the free agency, trading for people after the draft, whatever it may be. But I think get excited. I'm already there, man. I'm pumped up. I really am. Think doesn't see in the last half of the team putting that off season. Oh yeah, they're getting that work in, man. They're ready. They're pissed off. They know how this past season ended, and some of these guys are new to the team and they want to prove themselves and get this team on the right track. So I'm getting pumped up, man. I hope you guys are with me. Let's go. Yo, Lil, my man. Appreciate you tuning in, my friend. Hope you're having a great weekend. I had quite a long day, all day out in the rain. Then we went like ransomly. This one dude, oh my God. Like today was seriously insane for me. My brain is just like mush, complete mush. But I hope you guys are having a great week. I'm excited to be sitting in this chair talking some birds with you. So anything on your mind, let me know. Imagine Howie watching your show and be like, yo. And, we've made jokes about that a lot because, well, I've gotten 5 years in a row now of who the Eagles would select with their first pick. So, you guys make jokes. I work with Howie. Dude, I wish, and I hope so one day soon. But, look, I'd love for him to tune in. I'd love for him to make an appearance here. So let's make that happen this year. But is that Cunningham if we traded him or something? No, he was just on that list you guys saw earlier there of the free agents still available. And I had mentioned him that he could possibly come back with his familiarity with our new linebacker coach, Bobby King. Spent time together with the Titans, Texans. So I think he could definitely come back as that free agent guy. So we'll see. He could be the veteran that helps everybody out. So, yeah, as you guys saw that list at the beginning of the show, showed you all of the signings, who's still out there. I'll show you one last time real quickly, but we broke this all down here. You guys see all of the new additions, 7 on offense, 7 on defense that come from different places. So you see the asterisk next to Pickett as a trade, obviously, but feel great about that. Feel great about the guys that we retained as well. Love who we brought back. I just really love what we're, accomplishing here. But here are all the players that are gone. They're actually on other teams, so they're definitely not coming back or retired like Kelsey and Cox. But you could see a few on defense and then a little more on offense. But already got the replacements for the people that left. I feel pretty good about it. But here was the list, and the guy who was pictured is, well, Zach Cunningham himself. So, yeah, Bradley, Cunningham, Evans, Leonard, Roby on defense still available. Roderick Johnson, Julio, Penny, and Boston still out there. But look, the Eagles, man, I think looking to get, they've kind of brought back who they want to. The only name I mentioned off that was maybe Boston and Zach on defense. So we'll see, man. We'll see if they want to bring any of those guys. But I think a lot of that's going to depend on the draft. I think you kind of wait and see how the draft goes. Maybe they bring them back before that so they don't have to worry about it. They feel they don't need to get younger, whatever it may be, man. A lot to think about, Give me 1 sec. Got to check my phone here real quick. But you guys have any questions, comments you want to throw my way? I am going to get rolling out here in a few minutes. I am feeling winded. I'm losing my voice. It was seriously a long day of yelling a lot of stuff over the chainsaw. It was insane. Let's just put it that way. But I hope you guys all had a great week. I appreciate you guys each time you tune in to this Fan Friday show. I'm always looking forward to taking your questions, answering anything I can. And Luffy, my man, I really appreciate you getting that question in there. But if you guys have any of those kind of questions, go check out those draft videos. I'm going to post it down below in the comments. We'll talk about all that stuff. But I did want to show you a couple things. We talked about the cap space. It still hasn't moved. You'll save a little bit more with my Lotta, but 30.6, still dealing with 30 mil over. You're only going to need maybe 5 mil for the draft picks. So once they hit the books, that'll only be the effect, maybe 5 mil. So yeah, get excited. And then you see the helmets. We talked about the new rule in 2025. We should be able to have a third helmet. So maybe they bring the white one, maybe they bring the black one back. But a lot of excitement to be had here, ladies and gentlemen. Birds, they're coming. Now, it's going to feel like forever. But don't worry, when the countdown starts, day 99, it's all going to fly right by. So keep tuning in. I'll keep putting videos out daily as much as I can, keeping you up to date with everything you need to know. The game we talked about earlier this week, a couple days ago, I believe it was. I also wanted to touch up on that in case you guys missed that. So trying to recap everything that happened this weekend. Sorry, man, I'm really losing my voice here. But I've seen some people saying it's a 8:30, whatever. The betting sites are showing 7:15. But either way, Friday, September 6th, 2024, Sao Paulo, Brazil. Corinthians Arena, week 1, the Eagles versus Packers. So let's go, baby. Can't wait to whoop some ass. Dude, I'm telling you, I'm very excited about this team. I know Jalen Hurts is the leader of this team, so I feel comfortable that he is going to get these guys on the same page. They're going to have a fire inside of them after how last season ended. Unacceptable. Let's go out, whoop some ass. But I love you guys. Can't thank you enough for tuning in. And tomorrow, dude, I work. I have to get up at 5. And it's supposed to be an early day. We're supposed to get done pretty early. I do have a show I'm going to put out, but if anything happens, I'll get on that. But there will be a live one tomorrow talking about a couple things, and there will be hopefully the offensive line video put out as well. That won't be live, but going to get through this draft stuff. But I appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. I'm so sorry I'm Beat Street. There's no way I can take it to an hour. My voice just keeps cutting out. Oh, Nina, appreciate you tuning in. We just broke down everything and anything about the Eagles. But hey, if you have a quick question you want to get in before we go, if you tuned in with anything on your mind, I'd love to hear it. I wish I had my damn water in here, but I am losing my voice. I am beat up. I have had one of the longest days. I left for work at 6 today, going to leave at 6 tomorrow. Again, I should probably get up a little bit earlier than 5, but I am so beat up. I can't believe I agreed to work on Saturday, but giving us time and a half, and I'm going to make that money. So I'm all about it. I'm going to be there chopping it up, but I'll be chopping it up with you again tomorrow. And I really appreciate you, though, Nina. Hope you're having a great week. Hope you and the family are doing well. And the same goes to each and every one of you. Cannot thank you enough for tuning in here. And dude, Nina, you're awesome. You're always supporting me, always putting out, sharing stuff, letting people know the updated cap, all that stuff. And I've been pumping out the draft content. Not sure if you've seen that yet, but we've got quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, tight ends out. I'm working through it. We'll work my way up and work our way up to finding out who that pick is. So together we'll get through it. But I appreciate you. And as I tell you guys, when you rewatch it, please feel free to comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Watch it, comment like you're, part of the show. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you're talking about. My man, Joe, I appreciate you tuning in, dude. I am unfortunately just getting rolling out. I don't even know. I'm still talking my mouth. I feel like Chappie here. I'm struggling. I'm struggling in my mind, my lungs. I'm really having a hard time. Today was a really tough day, but I appreciate all of you, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope to see you when I'm live tomorrow. If not, if you're catching the show later, I always want to hear from you. Love to see you guys sharing that love down below. Hope you're having a great Friday, even with the crappy weather out here. And, thank you, my man. And it's going to be a good one, right? We're doing the cement outside of a pool. So, we couldn't do it the other day because it was raining. So we have to go back. Saturday is when it's supposed to not be raining. Now I'm hearing it might rain a little bit. So I'm like, mother. But we're going early. We're going to try to get it finished. So I appreciate you, my man. And thank you for getting those questions in, Blue Scenes. And sorry, I try to cover everything. I forget some of you guys missed stuff, but if you ever have anything on your mind, you weren't here earlier in the video, you missed something, dude, I'm always here for you. And every day I'm here putting out shows. So if you guys are ever curious about the depth chart, anybody on the roster, whatever's going on, cap hits, dude, I've got it all for you. So I appreciate you guys. I try to do all I can to keep you as informed as I possibly can. But I love you guys. If anything crazy happens, like Howie, maybe I'll pop back later tonight, but I'll be back tomorrow. You bet your money on it, baby. So you're getting 2 videos, hopefully tomorrow, definitely 1, but you stay safe as well, my man. And thank you for taking the time. If you rewatch, Joe, I'd love to hear from you, my friend. And I'm winded. I'm definitely winded, but hope you guys are having a great Friday. Hope to see you tomorrow. But until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You know what is coming, but you all stay safe out there. You need anything, feel free to reach out, whether it's about the birds, life. I'm always here for you, as you are for me. Appreciate you hitting the like button, subscribing, sharing stuff. You have no idea how much that helps and how much it means to me that you guys are so supportive. Cannot thank you enough, but have yourselves a great rest of your night. Again, Stay safe out there. And as always, oh my God. Oh, I made you all a promise. And I almost forgot it. I had it sitting right here, whole damn time. Almost didn't even notice it. But look what I found. So, I'm a man of my word. This is ridiculous. I'm just going to let you know right now. And usually when I put this on, I let the hair out. But it's happening. It is happening. Live on television or your TV or computer. But, if I'm looking at it backwards. El Stonio. Okay. So, can you see the stupid mic? You see that? So I'll be joining the WWF here sooner rather than later. Give me a hell yeah. Okay. Wow. So that happened. But literally earlier when I got home right before I went on the leads, I was like, oh my God, during the show, I'm going to forget later. I'm not going to find it. I was tearing stuff apart for you guys, man. I found the damn thing and yeah, ridiculous. A luchador Eagles mask. So when I saw them at WrestleMania, I'm like, I told the trainer, I told my buddy, dude, should have tagged me in, should have brought me with, but they didn't do it. But dude, I got to rock that out this year at the tailgates. And I'm telling you, if you guys ever go to a game, I'm there at the home games. Try to make as many as I can. Lot E, literally right by the entrance, right in between Wells Fargo and the Link. You're always welcome. Always plenty of food. Always plenty of good times. Whatever your passion fruit is. I don't know what you like to do, but it's always a good time. And dude, I hope to meet some of you. It has been so awesome meeting so many of you, giving you guys as much love as I possibly can because you guys just share too much love, calling me out places and doing too much you're way too supportive. And like, I'm just weird. I don't do well taking the kindness, but you guys are awesome. I'm so glad I found you sickos. I truly, even when I'm beat up on my last little bit of energy, I find it, man, for you guys because you truly mean the world to me, man. You sickos, you've made this channel truly something special, and I can't thank you enough. We're going to keep growing. We're going to keep getting better, man, and I can't do it without you. So thank you. Have yourselves a great rest of your night. Now I'm going to get out of here. But, yeah, have a great rest of your night. Stay safe out there. And as always, say it with me now, go Birds!